Okay, next few lessons I'm going to cover inheritance. So first one is definitions. Sometimes you like to define new classes from existing class so that you can reuse what's already available. There might be properties or behavior by other classes. So let me just write it down here. Common properties refers to data field. Behavior of objects refers to methods. Because inheritance forms is a relationship between classes, so this is the idea: existing class and then new classes. Okay. So we are reusing common properties and then methods. So here's the one example: students. Let's say student class. We have undergraduate student class. We have also graduate student class. We name it as a student, undergraduate, and graduate. So simple conceptual UML class diagram. We have a class name called student. Also undergraduate. There's is a relationship, means we can draw the line as an inheritance. Also graduates is a relationship with the student class. So we are looking at student as an existing class. We are going to define two additional classes. So student, we say superclass, sometimes general class. It depends on your textbook. And then undergraduate, graduate, we call it as subclasses. It's a specialized class. In terms of concepts, it's more specific than student class. Again, it depends on textbook. Sometimes superclass call it as a parents class. And then subclass can be called as a child class. Here also we say that base class. Then for subclass, we can say the extended class or derived class. Depends on your textbook. I will stick to most common terms called superclass and then subclass. So let's say student class has two data fields. One is a name, another one is student code. And UML class diagram normally has a class name, then data field. The last one usually has a constructor and multiple methods. By convention is so obvious. We may have setters and getters for name and code. In that case, you can omit it. So we have two data fields. Here we are going to use a default constructor and then two set of methods refers to getters and setters. So it's obvious. So I'm going to not to write it down. Let me move down here. So existing class, we call it as a superclass or parents class. We are referring to student class here. New classes, we have two of them. Subclasses or child classes. We are looking at undergraduate and graduate classes. Common properties, we have a name and student code. Behavior, methods. We have constructors and methods, okay? So we are referring to setters and getters, set name, set code, get name, and get code. Normally, setters, getters, we don't write it down inside the UML class diagram. So here we create overall or overriding methods. Actually, both of them we can rewrite it in our subclasses. Sometimes we can refer to superclass methods or constructor. That's why we create as invoke superclasses, constructor or methods inside the subclasses. For example, on the undergraduate classes, we can invoke superclass constructor called students, or setter called set name. Okay, let's create a project, then I will quickly demonstrate. So Java application, that's fine. So we may have 3 additional classes. one with main methods. I will keep it as it is. So first time, let me say this way. Let's say, what if you don't know inheritance? How you are going to construct 3 objects. One is based on generic student object. The other one may be something more specific on the graduate and then graduate objects. In that case, you may implement name and student code for student class also, and then undergraduate, and then graduate. So you may duplicate same thing 3 times. So let me stay with this idea. Without knowing inheritance, how much do we have to repeat? Students. So let me put some detail here, student class. So I'm going to use code generation to speed up. Here we need to have, private modifier. If you remember data encapsulations, data should be protected by default. It means we need to declare as a private. So here I'm going to use insert code, add properties. This is the first time I'm using it. So here name, we are referring to data field, name. And then type, data type, we will select string. And then we are going to select private and then generate setter and getter. For me, I'm going to uncheck generate Java documents so that I can show you more code on screen. Insert code and 2 string methods so that we can print. Okay, so that's the one. Student name, student, same story. We're going to do the same thing for undergraduate and then graduate class. Please try. Insert code, add property, name, uncheck generate document. You can keep it. And 2 string so that we can see what's inside the object. We do the same thing for graduate class. So we have exactly same coding 3 times. Let's add student code, add property, code, this time integer, uncheck generate Java doc. So we have, you can do the same thing 3 times, or let me just copy paste it because it's going to be same. So code, get code, set code will be same. And then graduate also same, paste it. So you have a navigator window. I will show you class name and data field and methods belongs to that particular class. So here we want to construct 3 objects based on 3 different classes. I will say student, new students, default constructor, students, method, set name. I will do the same thing for undergraduate and graduate. Insert and tab key, students, and then I'm going to print with the toString methods. Copy and paste it twice. Change to student, and there should be UG, and this is going to be graduate. Clean and build. Actually, you don't have to compile. Here you can run it. We have a student and then John and Jenny. Last one is object name, means I think I did not put toString methods. So let's have a look. Graduate, yes, no toString methods. I'm going to print both, okay, both of them. That means I need to change students, remove, create toString with 2 properties, okay. You can add code if you want, but I will just do this way. Insert code, toString, select 2 again, that's fine. So it's going to print with class name and then property belongs to that class. So class name student, undergraduate, graduate, and print name and code. So let's add student code. I will say 1, 2, 3. Four, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9. Here you can see, sorry, I think there's a mistake. Okay, student UG should be UG and then graduate. Keep just typing the student. Okay, now 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, correct. So let's look at diagram here. We have a existing class, which is students, and then new classes, subclasses. So if we know how to use inheritance, okay, we can reuse common properties. Also behavior of the class. So let's go back to students. We are going to use what's available in student class to properties, and then this is what we create a common properties string, and then of course it's a name and a code. Both of them are common properties for student and undergraduate and graduate. Here all these methods, those are behavior. I will say common behaviors of a student class, undergraduate and graduates. Again, we are referring to three objects here: student, undergraduate, graduate. Those three objects has the same behavior. We can set code, we can set name, we can get student name, also we can get student code. Also, we have the same common behavior. We can print what's inside the object. So all these things can be used. Also, it can be reused. Let me say setters and getters. So let's go to undergraduate. If we can reuse, then here, when we define at the beginning, we can define with what's already available, extend, students, superclass. We can remove all of these because we are reusing it all. And we don't have anything specific, data field, and then methods, so that we can remove it all. Looks like empty, but it's still okay as long as we extend student superclass. So idea is we are going to reuse common properties and behaviors of superclass called students. I'm going to do exactly the same thing for graduate students. I don't need anything specific. Here, I'm going to use what's already available. Okay. So if we go back, it works, but there's a problem with the graduate because I did not reuse. It means I have to extend superclass. That's how we define our subclass. So do I have to do anything? No. So let me say here, if you know inheritance now, you may implement name code for students. Then we can reuse them. We reuse name and code in undergraduate and then graduate classes. Okay. So let's see. It works exactly the same. Okay. That's all. Thank you.